The eyes of the sports world were focused on Angel Reese in the WNBA. And Angel Reese once again proved why no one is watching her. Angel Reese once again proved she is nowhere near Caitlin Clark's level. Her performance was absolutely horrific.
Angel Reese fans, are you still standing by her after this performance? The Chicago Sky just got blown out 79-52. That's not just a loss, that's a beatdown. Let's talk numbers. Reese played over 25 minutes and finished with 4 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists. That's her lowest scoring game since entering the league. Even worse, her plus-minus was 20. One of the worst in any game this season. I showed the warning signs last night. So how does a so-called rising star end up with more rebounds than points? She walked into the arena dressed like a superstar, but walked off the court with her reputation in question.
Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky scored the lowest points since 2011. 52 measly points. 52 measly points, the lowest point total since 2011.
As we mentioned, Angel Reese was the player everyone came to see, with the spotlight shining brighter than ever. She arrived at the arena in a bold, high-fashion outfit that lit up social media, turning heads before tip-off. The message was clear. Reese was ready to own the moment. But once the game started, the narrative took a turn. What was supposed to be her breakout performance became a stunning letdown. Instead of proving why she's one of the most hyped players in the WNBA, Reese delivered a shockingly poor showing that left fans and analysts alike in disbelief. Next.
Unfortunately, she left her game at home. 4 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists in 27 minutes of action, a minus 23 turnovers as the Chicago Sky, without Caitlin Clark, without Sophie Cunningham, without Stephanie White. Hope everything's okay, Steph.
Right. Just 4 points in over 25 minutes. That's the headline. It ties the lowest scoring output of her pro career. She shot a rough 2 for 7 from the field, just 31%, and posted a brutal 20 plus minus, one of the worst marks you'll see from any player this season. Yes, she grabbed 12 rebounds, but when your scoring is that flat, it raises serious questions about your overall impact. The rebounds may have padded the stat sheet, but the offensive presence just wasn't there.
Who comes up with these stats? I know people were saying, oh, she's like more like Denise Rodman. Oh, she's like Dennis Rodman of the W. I mean, more like Denise Rodman of the W.
She was awful last year, and this year, Angel Reese has somehow managed to become significantly worse. And it damn sure doesn't help that the media in the WNBA, they try to shield Angel Reese from criticism.
Layups, poor shot selection, and a noticeable lack of aggression defined her night. There was no urgency, no push to take over the game, not even an attempt to ignite a run. For a player carrying so much hype, she looked like she was just going through the motions.
If Angel Reese wants to be a basketball player, I don't know if she's 100% committed. To me, it seems like she would rather be a celebrity. She's attending the Met Gala. She's attending other doofus Hollywood events, making cameos and rap videos. She's hosting that painfully boring podcast. All of that would be fine if she was producing on the court. She's not.
The conversation has quickly shifted from excitement to concern. More and more people are starting to question whether Angel Reese's priorities are in the right place. She's a superstar on social media, constantly in the spotlight for her style and personality. But when the biggest highlight is her outfit, not her performance, you have to ask, is the focus still on basketball?
The expectations is not matching the performance, and it hasn't been. And we've been trying to tell you that since the beginning of last year.
Some commentators are even drawing comparisons between Reese's brand-first approach and the post-peak spotlight surrounding Colin Kaepernick, suggesting she may be more invested in her image than in elevating her game. It's a harsh criticism, but performances like this give her detractors plenty of fuel. There's also growing chatter about her relationship with the coaching staff and whether she's fully bought into the team system. Is she putting in the work to become a true leader and or just chasing the spotlight? The contrast with other players was impossible to ignore. Ari McDonald, coming off the bench for Indiana, dropped 12 points and brought non-stop energy. She wasn't the subject of pregame buzz, but she maximized every minute on the floor. Her hustle and efficiency helped set the tone for the Fever. Meanwhile, Reese, who was supposed to be the Sky's difference maker, completely disappeared on offense.
Caitlin Clark is averaging more assists per game than Angel Reese is averaging points per game this season. Yeah. 9.3 points per assists per game. 9.3 assists per game. Let me just bring it up. To 9.1 points per game.
Last year, they blamed Teresa Weatherspoon. This year, they're blaming the organization and the players around her. At some point, lonely men who follow Angel Reese, they're going to have to embrace reality. And the reality is, she's just not a good basketball player. I don't know if Angel Reese wants to be a basketball
The criticism is growing louder by the day. Fans and analysts alike are beginning to question whether Angel Reese can truly be the leader the Sky need. Flashy moments and a big personality aren't enough, not at the pro level. In this league, you have to show up when it counts, and you have to do it consistently. Reese's performance in this game has forced a tough question to the forefront. Is she just a name, or can she actually elevate her team when it matters most? All of this unfolded on a night when the Chicago Sky desperately needed a leader to rise. Instead, their most talked about player, Angel Reese, vanished, and the team paid the price. But while Reese struggled, something remarkable was happening. On the other side of the court, a team missing its biggest star put on a clinic, flipping the script on what's possible in the WNBA. Last year, the blame fell on coach Teresa Weatherspoon. This year, it's shifting to the front office and Reese's teammates. But at some point, the die-hard Angel Reese fans, especially the ones clinging to hype over performance, are going to have to face reality. And the reality is this. Right now, Angel Reese simply isn't a good basketball player. In fact, it wasn't just Reese. The entire Sky roster crumbled. Nearly 19,000 fans tuned in on a CBS primetime broadcast, and what they got was an empty performance. The Sky had everything to play for and still completely fell apart. A 27-point blowout on national TV. Not a single Chicago player broke double digits. That's almost unheard of in the WNBA. Even for the worst teams, Camila Cardoso led the Sky with just 8 points. That stat alone tells the story. This wasn't just a loss. It was a collapse. And one that raises serious questions about the direction of this team, having an off night. But this wasn't just a rough outing. This was a meltdown from the opening tip. You guys went all in to win this year. Nobody on your team even scored more than 10 points yesterday. Nobody on your team even scored more than 10 points yesterday. We could go down the list. They all played bad right away. The gap between the two teams was obvious. The Fever looked sharp and locked, in moving the ball with purpose, attacking the paint and making every possession count. The Sky, on the other hand, seemed lost. Their offense stalled out almost immediately. By the end of the first quarter, they'd only managed 9 points, and it didn't get better. Chicago failed to score more than 15 points in any single quarter. Camila played bad. Angel played bad. Kay, Nurse, played bad. Ariel Atkins played bad. Possession after possession, the ball stuck in players' hands and passes sailed, lazily or straight into the defender's arms. Every missed shot or turnover turned into a fast break for Indiana. The Fever's largest lead ballooned to 30 points, and the Sky looked like they had no answers. You are proving to be not a good head coach. Simply put, the United Center felt like enemy turf after the first few minutes. Instead of feeding off the crowd, the Sky gave fans nothing to cheer. For Indiana's bench was fired up, celebrating every defensive stop and every made basket, while the Sky players sat quietly, frustration written all over their faces. By the time the third quarter rolled around, it seemed like most of the Chicago fans had already checked out. The energy in the building was gone, replaced by disbelief and disappointment. I think she's actually getting worse. What an embarrassing performance by this guy. Make history by playing in the United Center, and then proceed to not score more than 15 points in any quarter. Get trounced by 27, get trounced by 27 by a Caitlin Clark-less Fever team. Ouch. Did she just airball a layup? Yes, Algazi. That actually happens quite a few times during Chicago Sky games. Quite a few times. You will see her airball wide open. The Sky's issues went far beyond missed shots. There was no chemistry. The ball barely moved, and when it did, it often ended in a forced shot or a turnover. On defense, the communication broke down completely. Indiana picked them apart, finding open shooters and attacking mismatches. The Sky couldn't stop dribble, penetration, couldn't rotate fast enough, and couldn't contest shots. It was like watching a team that hadn't practiced together, let alone played a full season. Reese. This is not just Angel Reese. The Chicago guy in general have an issue. Imagine trading your top 3 pick for Ariel Atkins. Imagine trading a potential Sonia Catron for Ariel Ad. How's that working out for you? Chicago Sky analysts watching the game didn't hold back. They called it a beatdown and embarrassment and questioned whether anyone in the Sky locker room was willing to step up and lead. The lack of cohesion was obvious. You could see players looking frustrated with each other, shaking their heads after broken plays and missed assignments. It made you wonder if there's tension behind the scenes or if the team just doesn't have the leadership it needs to pull together when things get tough. Tyler Marsh is going through it. Shout out to Ken Swift. Tyler out here, fighting for his life. This was supposed to be a statement game, a chance for this guy to prove they belonged on the big stage. Instead, it exposed every weakness, especially the lack of a go-to scorer and a true leader on the floor. Even Angel Reese, who has brought so much attention to this franchise, couldn't spark a run or rally her teammates. The Sky got outplayed, outworked, and outcoached from start to finish. Yikes. His was not close. It was not competitive. It is 7-9-5-2. With 22 seconds left, Indiana Fever up big right now. Very big in this game, guys. I gotta tell you, Angel Reese as an offensive player, she's not good. She is just not good. And when you look at the numbers, it's hard to find any silver lining. The Sky offense was completely shut down. Their defense couldn't slow anyone down, and the team looked disconnected at every turn. The questions about this team are only getting louder, especially after a performance like this. I had said earlier in the game, if Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham had been playing in this game, they might have won by 40. I was wrong. They might have won by 70. It was that bad. Indiana Fever's dominance over the Chicago Sky was impossible to ignore, especially with Caitlin Clark out. Of the lineup, you might expect a team to struggle without their star, but the Fever didn't just keep up. They took control from the opening tip and never let go. This wasn't about surviving without Clark. It was about showing everyone that Indiana is more than just one player. The 7-9-5-2 blowout wasn't a fluke. It was a statement from a team that looked sharper, deeper, and more connected than their opponent at every turn. Kelsey Mitchell first quarter, 8 points, 3 of 3 from the field, and they got off and going very quickly. Aaliyah Boston right here. She's going to kick out to Lexi Coe way downtown. Boom, interim coach Austin Kelly deserves a lot of credit. Kelly barely called a timeout, coaching with a calm confidence that let Indiana's system breathe. His presence set the tone, and the players responded. The Fever's offense looked different right away. Austin Kelly, I got to tell you, I was impressed by him tonight. I think he showed poise as a coach. He seemed to be organized. I liked his substitutions. The only complaint is I could have had Ari McDonald in this game longer. But outside of that, frankly, I liked what he saw, and I liked the pace that they played with. They started their actions well beyond the three-point line, stretching the Sky's defense and creating space for their scorers to operate. This spacing let Indiana move the ball with purpose, and it paid off all night. Kelsey Mitchell led the way with 17 points. Aaliyah Boston chipped in 11, and Ari McDonald came off the bench to add 12. The scoring was balanced, and the ball rarely stuck in one player's hands. Everyone got involved, and the Sky had no answer. But Ari McDonald driving into this going to be a little drive into the lane right here. Going to be an and one right there. Got fouled. Yeah. Aerie McDonald's impact was huge. She brought energy off the bench, attacking the paint, making smart passes and knocking down shots from deep. Her hustle on both ends of the floor set the standard for the rest of the team. One commentator even joked about making backdoor deals to keep her on the roster. She was that valuable. McDonald's playmaking and relentless effort kept the Fever's momentum going, and her 12 points were a big reason the Sky couldn't mount any kind of comeback. So Eric McDonald, she's going to knock down back-to-backs on three-pointers right now. All right, Lexi out to Aerie, boom. Right there. There's going to be another one. There's going to be another one. Let me just do a little skip right here. Back over to AR, I think that was Aaliyah Boston. And boom, another knockdown three-pointer in this game. Good God, it was a slaughter. The Fever's defense was just as impressive. They pressured the ball, rotated quickly, and forced Chicago into bad shots and turnovers. Every time the Sky tried to get something going, Indiana shut it down. The Fever's execution exposed Chicago's lack of chemistry and leadership, making the difference between the two teams even more obvious. While the Sky struggled to find a rhythm, Indiana played like a unit that knew exactly what it wanted to do. I tell you guys, I'm going to tell you something funny. They show Caitlin Clark a couple of times. The Indiana Fever beat the out of the Sky so bad. Caitlin Clark looked like she was legitimately bored out of her mind on the side. Seriously, even without Clark, the Fever looked like a cohesive unit, depth that every contender needs. This win pushed Indiana to 2 points. A big step for a team looking to prove itself in a tough league. The message to the rest of the WNBA was clear. The Fever can win in different ways, and they don't need to rely on just one superstar to get the job done. The Sky, on the other hand, were left searching for answers. This game didn't just highlight Indiana's strengths. It put the spotlight on Chicago's weaknesses. As the Fever celebrated a team win, the Sky were left to face some tough questions about their future and the direction of their season. That kind of contrast sets up a conversation that goes way beyond one game. Nah, they will blame the coach that plays everything but Angel for this. That's a fact. By the way, Angel Reese by way of Brick Center really good. Follow, man, if you're not following. Brick Center? I don't know what to tell you. Angel Reese now has more rebounds than points in her career. With a couple little brick emojis. That's really good. It really is. Angel Reese's night wasn't just a stumble. It was a wake-up call. 4 points versus 12 rebounds and a minus 20 plus minus under a national spotlight. That's the stat line everyone's talking about in a game where the WNBA had a primetime slot on CBS. Reese didn't just fall short, she completely disappeared. Critics are right to call out the gap between her hype and her production. The Chicago Bravado are a flaming ass fire because their so-called best player is one of the worst players in the league. Is Angel's social media presence overshadowing what she does on the court? If you think her star can still rise, hit like. If you're calling for answers, drop your take in the comments and subscribe for more no holds barred breakdowns. Will Reese climb back up or keep sinking? Let us know.